Good morning, dear viewers. I am going to discuss today what I have said in my last video, that the 1914 thing of the Jehovah's Witnesses is not based on sound exegesis or explanation of Bible accounts, and is also in contradiction with what has happened and the real history of surrounding nations and also the nation of Israel, that has a very important bearing on the subject of true chronology. And my last video, I have proven that the doctrine of Jehovah's Witnesses about the 1914 interment of Christ is not based on real facts, because they used there an imaginary, I want to use the word imaginary calendar, which has 360 days, in calculating the 2,520 years from 19, they say that they counted from 607 BC to 1914 CE, which according to them is the enthronement of Christ in heaven as God's appointed king. But in reality, they are calculating the years from their predetermined date of 1914 back to 607 BCE or BC. But as all students and knowledgeable people about secular history, the 607, the year 607 is not the year of the destruction of the city of Jerusalem and its temple under the attack of the Babylonians led by King Nebuchadnezzar II. The secular history put that event on the year 587 or 586 BC. Now, if we will examine well the 607 of the witnesses, we will come to realization that it is their own predetermined idea to suit their kind of explanation. Why did we say that? And why did I say that the Bible or the verses from the Bible does not support their kind of explanation? Well, at Daniel chapter 9 verses 1-2, let us read that verse. It says here, "And the first year of Darius the son of Ahasuerus, a descendant of the Medes, who had been made king over the kingdom of the Chaldeans, in the first year of his reign, I Daniel discerned by the books the number of years mentioned in the word of Jehovah to Jeremiah the prophet, to fulfill the desolation of Jerusalem, namely 70 years." So that verses mention the 70 years desolation of Jerusalem. But are we going to, is it right for us to conclude that Jerusalem will be desolated for only 70 years? Is that 70 years being mentioned by Daniel, chapter 9, verses 1 and 2, applied to the desolation of the city of Jerusalem? If we will be narrow and be rigid in explaining verse 2 of chapter 9, Daniel chapter 9, we will subscribe to that kind of conclusion. But that is not what the Bible must be interpreted. Because if we will do that, if the witnesses will do that, their own literatures and explanations will contradict their 1914 and 607 BCE thing. Why did I say that? If the 70 years is applicable to the desolation of the city of Jerusalem, so it must be concluded that after that 70 years, the city will be rebuilt. So, if the witnesses, is saying that the city was destroyed by Nebuchadnezzar in the year 607, it will brought them to year 537 BC, to become the supposed rebuilding, or to become the time when the temple in Jerusalem has been rebuilt already. But the witnesses knows that it is not the case, because in their own literature, their book, What Does the Bible Really Teach? At page 198, and explaining the 70 weeks of Daniel, they have put here the year 406 as the year when the temple or the city of Jerusalem has been rebuilt already. So if we will count 70 years from 406, it will only bring us back up to 476, not 607. So that kind of explaining Daniel chapter 9 verse 2 as the meaning of the 70-year period desolation of Jerusalem is not applicable. So the witnesses is not using that, but they want to explain that the desolation, that the 70 years apply, and the years between 607 up to 537 BC, when the Israelite has started the return to the promised land to rebuild the temple. That is their explanation there. But since Daniel is only quoting from the book of Jeremiah, it is better for us to read the account for that 70 years desolation thing from the book of Jeremiah itself. So, what can we find if we will examine the book of Jeremiah, especially chapter 25, regarding that 70 years period of desolation? Does it apply primarily or exclusively only for the nation of the Jew, which is in Jerusalem? Or is that 70-year period of desolation also applicable to all the other surrounding nations that will be captured or be conquered by the king of Babylon. So, for us, not to keep on guessing, I want to turn your attention on Jeremiah chapter 25. Let's turn our Bible to Jeremiah chapter 25. Verses 8 to 12. Or 11. It says there, therefore, this is what Jehovah of armies says, because you would not obey my words. I am sending for all the families of the north, declares Jehovah, sending for King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, my servant, and I will bring them against this land, and against its inhabitants, and against all these surrounding nations. I will devote them to destruction and make them an object of horror and something to desolate in a perpetual ruin. I will put an end to the sound exaltation and the sound of rejoicing from them, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, the sound of the handmill and the light of the lamp. And all this land will be reduced to ruins and will become an object of horror. And these nations will have to serve the king of Babylon for 70 years. So see, the 70 years period of desolation is not incumbent or applicable only upon the nation of Jerusalem with its capital in Jerusalem. As we have read clearly, the 70 years period of desolation included all the other surrounding nations or neighboring nations of the state of Israel. So, when did that 70 years started, and when did that end? Well, if we will turn to the secular history, the Neo-Babylonian empires secured its position as the top military and political power when it has toppled and destroyed its predecessor, the Assyrian Empire and enemy. And when did that happen? It happened in the year 609 BC, when the last vestiges of the Assyrian Empire has been defeated by the Babylonian forces, and the battle of its last stronghold, if I'm not mistaken, it is the city of Haran, where the last forces from the capital of the Assyrian Empire Nineveh has retreated and make their last stand against the Babylonian superpower or empire at that time. So, it started there. And when did it end? It has ended in the year 539 BC. What is the significant event that happened that year? It was the time the new international power, the new Persian Empire, under the leadership of Cyrus the Great, captured and entered the city of Babylon. That is all the events inside that period, from 609 to 539 BC, is the application of Jeremiah chapter 25 verses 8 to 11 that we have just read. It is the true meaning or true application of that prophetic word and the Bible. And the witnesses is not arguing that fact in history that Cyrus the Great entered Babylon in the year 539 BC. But another pointer is the witnesses also believe that that is not the year the Israelite has been released from their captivity in Babylon. So, if it is true that they're counting from 607 BC, is it right for them to make the conclusion or the assumption that the Israelite, when Cyrus has already entered and captured Babylon, is it right for them to think and to assume that the Israelites there is still a hostage? Are they still hostages there and captives there in Babylon? No. That is not the right thing to think about their situation there when the Persians and Medes entered and captured the city from the Babylonians. Because the Bible is telling us that when Cyrus entered the city, he has proclaimed, and not only proclaimed, but he has ordered the Israelite to return to their homeland to rebuild the temple, because Jehovah God has ordered them to do so, and that is why he also gave the provision for that project to prosper. Their captivity there has not ended in the year 537 BCE, when the last of the groups of Israelites started their journey to Jerusalem to rebuild the temple and the city walls. So it is clear that they are not being treated there as captives, but as friends. Yes, in fact, before King or Cyrus the Great entered the city of Babylon, the successor of Nebuchadnezzar, King Awel Marduk, or the King Ebel Merodach in the Bible, has already befriended the prisoner King Jehoiakim or Coniah and released him from prison and gave him a special position in the government of Babylon. So even before the transition of power in Babylon from the Babylonians to the to the Persians, I should say, the status of the Israelite inside Babylon is not captives. So even if we did not count that into account that particular fact from the Bible, even if we will only reckon the time of entry of Cyrus the Great, the Persian in the Medes, to liberate the Israelites from their captivity in Babylon in the year, and put it in the year 539 BCE, which the witnesses agreed as the year when he entered. So, they should count the 70 years from 539 backwards. And if we will do that, and if they will do that, it will not come or exactly at what they want to place the year, because it will brought them to 609 BC if we will count the 70 years. So the explanations of the witnesses about the 70 years from 537 to 607 BC only serves their kind of explaining the events without giving full attention on what the Bible is really saying about the topic. So, in this video, it is clear for us that the 70 years does not apply only from the year that the Jerusalem was being captured and destroyed by the Babylonian forces and 537, or according to the witnesses, 607. It does not apply there. Because if captivity or subjugation is concerned, even before the destruction of the city of Jerusalem, the Israelite is already under the control and subjugation of the Babylonian Empire, because King Jehoiakim has become a vassal king to Nebuchadnezzar, for a period of 3 years, his last 3 years in power, and his successors is also vassal king. His brother Zedekiah is a vassal king to the Babylonian power for all the 11 years that Zedekiah has ruled Judah. So the subjugation of Jerusalem started, of the people of the Jews, started at the term of King Jehoiakim, not in the destruction of Jerusalem and its temple, as some Bible readers may conclude. So this is a very big topic, a very deep topic about history and what the Bible is really saying. I just hope with my limited English I can have ventilated this topic, and the primary point of this talk is to prove that the witnesses does not consider what the Bible is really saying about the 70 years desolation. That is why their explanation of the 70 years is very wrong, and they're putting the year of Jerusalem's destruction at the year of 607 is very wrong. So their calculation of the enthronement of Christ, which they vote on 1914, based on their wrong calculation and wrong calendar is also very wrong. So, that's for all today, my dear viewers. If you have benefited in any way from this video, please subscribe, and please don't forget to pass on to many people as possible my videos, so that they can benefit also from this ministry, for them to be able to master the courage if they are a member in, they are still a member inside the Jehovah's organization, Jehovah's Witnesses organization. I am praying that my videos will enable them to master all the courage to pull out themselves and to escape from that opportunistic and unloving organization. Thank you very much, and God